A Blaine man is pushing away plastic by bringing a taste of the past to a new generation. After years of research and planning, Jesse Hopkins' sweet dreams are coming true.
As a kid, I just remembered my mom always bringing home an 8-pack of soda when I was little, and we all got to pick one. And for me, that soda was always associated with fun times, and when it vanished, I really missed it.
As an assistant principal at a St. Paul Park Middle School, Jesse Hopkins knows the younger generations don't have those same memories, putting him on a new mission. He had experience making beer, but high expenses brewed sweeter ideas.
Found a guy in central Wisconsin that was making soda and thought, maybe I can give that a shot.
The educator had lessons to learn.
To get it started for me, it was spending a lot of time learning it in central Wisconsin, the factory where I learned, and then just taking a risk and buying the equipment.
Making soft drinks was hard work.
I started off by looking at some super old newspapers and finding old soda shops, soda fountains, and borrowing some ideas from them and then going from there. So really it was, a little bit of chemistry and just a lot of trial and error.
Jesse needed to find flavors that took tasters to another time, all served in a returnable glass bottle.
I knew I wanted to make 50s style soda, so rather than make an interpretation of it, I decided to buy the equipment and just literally make 1950 soda. In the first few weeks, we probably broke one for every one we filled. And our hands were cut, and it was a steep, painful learning curve. But now we have it down. I would say, I'll bet you I've broken a solid 2,000 bottles.
He says it's the only company with refundable, returnable bottles in Minnesota and is one of just 13 in the country.
The returnable glass bottle is a really heavy bottle, and so it's expensive to transport. And so it's one of those things where it vanished because it didn't make financial sense for big businesses. And to me, that's something that is hard for me to swallow, because it's not because people didn't like the idea of it, it's because it didn't make financial sense. Part of it's bringing back that element of childhood, the nostalgic part of it, but then also definitely an environmental component too, with it being, without a doubt, the most sustainable packaging that you could have. It's reused. So our bottles can last up to 40 to 60 years and keeps a lot of plastic out of landfills.
This bubbly blend made with real sugar and low carbonation needed a name with a sound that hits the spot.
I was just brainstorming for words that kind of had a connotation of just total positivity, and so I thought, well, whistling, it's pretty much impossible to be angry and whistling, so that's kind of where Whistler came from.
With his Forest Lake factory open to the public every Saturday, Jesse sees a refreshing response.
That's actually been my favorite moment working in here, is when people that were around in the 50s come and try and say it brings them back. So typically the cream soda and the black cherry do that, and we've had some just people that were ecstatic to see it back, because they all have stories connected to when they were a kid. They went down to the local bottler, because there used to be bottlers in almost every community, and they would get their soda, returnable bottles in a case, and bring them home. And so, we brought something back, and so when you see them come in, that makes me feel like, I think we really nailed it, because they were around then. So far we have had 100% positive response to the soda. There's virtually been no one that said, oh no, this isn't for me.
In a land of pop drinkers, Whistler Classic Soda has some confused.
Every Saturday we're open, a couple people ask me, is this soda or pop? And I really don't know how to tell the difference between the two. I grew up in Wisconsin. I don't know, we always called it soda, so I guess it's soda, but to me it's both.
Word has even traveled to the schoolyard.
A couple kids there say, hey, when are you going to bring me my soda? And I say, well, as soon as you bring me the money. It's a pretty incredible feeling sometimes to step back and see starting a brand that it was from nothing, and now I can go into a couple of stores and there it is for sale. So it's a pretty cool sense of accomplishment.
With opportunities to grow, Jesse's not ready to quit his day job, enjoying his small business one sip at a time.
I would just love to see this be a place where people come pick up their soda or their pop on Saturdays. That is the end goal, to be successful enough to just be a big part of the community here in Forest Lake and around this area.
Whistler comes in 10 flavors, including black cherry and fruit punch. To quench your thirst for nostalgia, you can visit the factory on Saturdays in Forest Lake or other locations throughout the metro. For more information, go to whistlersoda.com.